This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is 4/27/22, show number 385. Market volatility continues on unabated, Nick.
It's really amazing. We have outrageous volatility right now. The VIX is above 30. It's very, very high. This last couple of weeks have been market moves that we've seen that are just absolutely incredible. We get rallies, we get huge sell-offs. Yesterday, we had a monster sell-off after a big Monday rally. That Monday rally, in my opinion, was very impressive. It did occur on volume, but yesterday it was completely eclipsed as the markets went back down. Got tons of fear out here right now, and take it one day at a time right now. You just got to be a little bit on the cautious side. And, there's a little bit too much bearishness out here for my liking. That tells me the markets could get a bid here. But you still got to be very, very cautious. There's just so much going on out here. Geopolitical events are, at the forefront, as you know, with the Russian-Ukraine war. You got a Fed meeting next week. That will conclude. It's a 2-day meeting, starts on Tuesday, ends on Wednesday. Everybody's waiting to see what the Fed does. They are expected to raise rates by 50 basis points. And then you have earnings season. Microsoft had great earnings. Google, not so great. That stock's down 4% today. So it's a wild one out here. That's all I could say.
Hey, that's for sure. It's definitely pretty wild out there. Look what's happening with the dollar.
The dollar is absolutely on fire. It's now trading at its highest level since March 2020, sitting right around 103. If you look at a U.S. dollar index chart, everybody wrote the dollar off, that it was dead, it was going down. And, right here on this show, too, I said, no, the dollar should be strong this year. And again, don't give up on the dollar just yet. I do think about 3-4 years from now, the dollar will no longer be the world's reserve currency. But at the moment, it's stormtrooping higher, and it looks like it wants to make a run for the 2017 top, just around 104.
All right, and gold is getting hammered again, along with silver. How much further can that decline go?
Yeah, so gold right now, down again today, but not horrible. It's right now sitting at around 1890, which brings us back to where it was if you look at late February. Late February, this was the breakout point. So what it's doing right now is just going back down, testing the breakout point in late February, just under $1,900. And again, I think it's going to be range bound here. Like I said a while ago, I do think if there's any kind of resolution in Ukraine, I think gold is in for a major correction. However, at the moment, it's still range bound, and you have a lot of support right at this current level around 1890 on a daily chart. Now, if we start to break that level, then gold could be vulnerable and trade back down to probably 1800, maybe even the high 1700s. But you got to be very, very careful right now, because the dollar is front and center, and that just goes up against every other currency right now. And, that's probably putting pressure on gold here at the moment.
Yeah. And while some of the major gold stocks were hitting new highs, good earnings and all that, they peaked and they weren't leading the metal.
Yeah. And prior to that happening, they were leading, right? But they've really come in quite a bit. So if you just look at the GDX, which could make it easy for everybody, that's the VanEck Gold Miners ETF. And that'll give you all the big gold miners in one big bunch. That has come in much like the gold chart. But, if you look at this now, it has come in quite a bit. There's still a lot of support here. As I said before, even with gold, you went into that late February breakout point. But if you break this level, the gold miners can go a lot lower. And, that ultimately, in my opinion, will set up for a buying opportunity. But we're not even close to those levels yet.
All right. Well, these markets can turn on a dime. We've seen that. Hey, look at Bitcoin around the 38,000 level.
Yeah, so Bitcoin is hanging in there. As much as I comment on it every day. It's still whipping all around, but that 38,000 level that we talked about weeks ago, we got back above it, went above 40 for a little bit, now coming back and testing that area, that key area. I'm going to call it a key area because this level has to stick. If we start to break significantly below 38,000, then watch out, Bitcoin's in for a lot of trouble. But as of right now, it lives to fight another day. And I never, ever look at the downside until key levels break. So right now, Bitcoin is still hanging in there.
Hey, well, on brighter news, Kathy Woods seems to believe that by 2030, Bitcoin could be at $1 million.
I wouldn't rule anything out because we just don't know where we're going to be in this world in 2030, although I do have some guesses. Again, if there is hyperinflation or something like that, hey, you never know. But other than that, I don't see that happening.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see. We only got about 7.5 years to find out. And it's weird. The month is almost over. April turned into March of 2020.
Yes. And, the clock seems to be flying right now. I honestly can't believe we're almost in the month of May here. And this year is almost halfway through. It just seems, I guess maybe the older I get, the faster things go by. But I can't recall a period in my life where I see, the days are going by so quickly.
Hey, well, the question I have for you, Nick, is will April market showers bring May market flowers?
Well, this is my thoughts on the market right now. I do think there are bounces in the cards, and you're going to get them, and then you're going to get sell-offs again. Then you're going to get big sell-offs and more rallies, and then sell-offs again. And that's the way these bear phases work right now. Remember, we had a very, very sharp and quick first quarter decline. The second quarter now, we are just chopping around. It almost looks like an EKG, and that's what you have to expect right now going forward.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Make sure you go over to Nick's site, inthemoneystocks.com, see how he's beaten and continues to beat the averages for decades. And the Twitter feeds are at ITMS, at Nick Santiago01, and at Kerry Lutz. Your email's always welcome, KL@kerrylutz.com. Nick, we'll talk to you on Friday, see what's happening then.
Sounds good, Kerry.